In the heart of Tennessee, where the pines whispered secrets and the river hummed ancient tunes, Holly Bobo vanished. On April 13th, 2011, the town held its breath, and the woods, those shadowed guardians, kept their secrets close. More than 3 years after her disappearance, in September 2014, ginseng hunters stumbled upon partial human remains near a cell phone tower off Interstate 40. Holly Bobo was found, a haunting moment etched into the Tennessee woods. Holly Lynn Bobo, born on October 12, 1990, to parents Dana and Karen Bobo in Darden, Tennessee. In the quietude of Darden, Tennessee, the morning of April 13, 2011, Holly Bobo stirred. The world outside her window was a watercolor wash, soft blues and grays. She slipped into her sneakers, her heartbeat a metronome of anticipation. On the morning of April 13, 2011, Holly Bobo's father, Dana Bobo, wakes at 5:30. He saw his daughter studying in the kitchen for a big test later that day. Holly was a nursing student at the University of Tennessee at Martin Parsons Center. Karen Bobo joined Holly in the kitchen, where she was diligently studying. She packed Holly's lunch just like every other day, and with a warm smile told her daughter she loved her. With a final glance, Karen headed to work, unaware that this would be their last morning together. Her parents had left for work, and her brother Clint still slept. At 7:30 a.m., her phone buzzed. A call from Drew Scott, her boyfriend. He was out turkey hunting on her grandmother's property nearby. His voice crackled through the line, a lifeline to the waking world. Holly smiled, unaware that fate had drawn her into its tangled web. Holly stepped outside, dew clinging to her sneakers. The woods, those ancient sentinels, whispered secrets. She followed their path, sunlight dappling her path like forgotten memories. And then a scream, a primal note that pierced the morning mist. A neighbor heard it, a dog barked, and Holly vanished. Her brother Clint, roused by the commotion, glimpsed her, a man in camouflage leading her deeper into the woods. The trees held their breath. Clint initially thought the man was Holly's boyfriend and believed they were having a breakup conversation. Tragically, it was later realized that Holly was being abducted. Everything seemed normal until Karen received a distressing call from a neighbor who heard screams coming from their home. This prompted Karen to call home, where her son Clint answered and mentioned that Holly's car was still in the driveway. Holly should have already left for school, leading Karen to immediately sense that something was wrong. She urgently called 911. Meanwhile, Clint, still unsure of the situation, saw bloodstains in the garage. The police arrived within minutes and began a search. Holly's phone was tracked to a wooded area near Interstate 40, but it soon went silent. The town rallied, search parties, tearful prayers. But the woods, their shadows thickening, kept their secrets. Holly's laughter lingered, a ghostly echo. The sun climbed and the hours blurred. The river murmured as if it knew. The search for Holly Bobo spanned over 3 agonizing years. Various personal items belonging to Holly were found scattered across the area, including her lunchbox and school ID. From the moment she vanished on April 13th, 2011, her family, friends, and community were plunged into a relentless quest for answers. Volunteers combed through dense woods, rivers, and fields, holding on to hope with every step. Flyers, vigils, and news reports kept her story alive. A torn pink ribbon fluttered near the creek. Holly's mother recognized it, the one Holly wore in her hair. The woods held more secrets. A scrap of torn fabric, a muddy footprint. The sheriff's eyes narrowed. "Someone knew these woods well," he muttered. An anonymous tip led the police to suspect Zach Adams and 3 other men from the Darden area. The investigation into Holly Bobo's disappearance was extensive and complex. Initially, there was no DNA evidence linking anyone to her abduction. Holly Bobo's brother, Clint, found himself under a cloud of suspicion in the early days of the investigation. As the last person to see Holly alive, he witnessed her being led into the woods by a man he mistook for her boyfriend. This, coupled with his presence at home during the abduction, drew intense scrutiny from law enforcement. Clint endured rigorous questioning, took a polygraph test, and cooperated fully with investigators. Despite the initial suspicion, his unwavering cooperation, and the lack of incriminating evidence, eventually cleared his name. The investigation then shifted focus to other suspects, unraveling the dark and twisted tale behind Holly's tragic disappearance.
Yeah, if you look at this picture, tell me if you recognize that.
I do.
All right, what is that?
That is a viewpoint from the back door of our house up towards the woods where I last saw them walking.
And in fact, is this a picture from that, I guess you can call it demonstration,
Yes.
where you were standing at this window, telling them where to be, so that everybody could see what you saw?
It is.
A total of 6 men were entangled in the tragic saga of Holly Bobo's disappearance. The first arrests came in March 2014, months before Holly's remains were found. Among those charged were Zach Adams, his brother Dylan Adams, and their friend Jason Autry. They faced severe charges, especially aggravated kidnapping, first-degree murder, and rape. The case unraveled a dark and twisted narrative, leaving a community in shock and mourning. Another 2 men, Jeffrey and Mark Piercy, were arrested on charges of accessory after the fact and tampering with evidence. However, charges against the Piercy brothers were dropped. Another man, Shane Austin was a suspect, identified by an eyewitness as following her just days before. She was kidnapped outside her home. The path to uncovering Holly Bobo's fate was shrouded in mystery. Law enforcement suspicions initially fell on Dylan Adams, who was arrested on unrelated weapons charges. This arrest proved pivotal. During questioning, Dylan revealed a chilling detail. He had seen Holly alive at his brother Zach's home following her abduction. This revelation cracked open the case, leading to a deeper investigation and the eventual charges against Zach Adams, Dylan Adams, and Jason Autry. The tangled web of deceit and horror began to unravel, exposing the dark truths behind Holly's disappearance. An affidavit for a search warrant revealed chilling details from Dylan Adams. On April 13, 2011, Dylan went to Zach's residence to retrieve his truck. There, he saw Holly Bobo sitting in a green chair in the living room, wearing a pink t-shirt, with Jason Autry standing just a few feet away. Zach was dressed in camouflage shorts, a black cut-off sleeve t-shirt, and green Crocs. Dylan recounted that Zach confessed to raping Holly and videotaping the act, though the alleged tape has never been found. This testimony painted a harrowing picture of the events that unfolded that tragic day. Dylan later recanted his confession, claiming he was coerced. Despite this, his initial statements led to the arrests of Zach Adams, Jason Autry, and Shane Austin. Many details in Dylan's confession were inconsistent with the known evidence. Shane Kyle Austin was initially offered immunity in exchange for information regarding the location of Bobo's body. The agreement was withdrawn after Austin was unable or unwilling to lead them to the body, and the district attorney released a statement saying that Austin has not been completely truthful, forthcoming, and cooperative as to any and all aspects of this investigation. Austin's attorney filed a complaint against the state, asking for an immediate and permanent injunction preventing the state from charging Austin. In February 2015, he was found dead from suicide in a hotel room in Bartow, Florida. 3 years after Holly Bobo disappeared, hunters stumbled upon her remains, a macabre treasure hidden in the underbrush, a skull, teeth, ribs, and a shoulder blade. Forensic experts examined the evidence: the beveled bone, the gunshot wound. Holly's DNA whispered her lineage, a child of Karen and Dana Bobo, a sibling to Clint. Holly's remains lay there, her eyes forever closed. The woods, once her playground, now held her secret. There is no clear evidence that Holly Bobo knew her abductors personally. The men involved in her abduction and murder, Zach Adams, Dylan Adams, and Jason Autry, lived in the same region, but there is no indication that Holly had any prior relationship with them. The investigation revealed that the perpetrators were familiar with the area, which may have facilitated the crime. Zach Adams was connected to Holly Bobo's murder through a combination of witness testimonies and incriminating statements he made to others. The courtroom was a stage set for a high-stakes drama, where every word, every gesture could sway the scales of justice. Zach Adams, the man accused of a heinous crime, sat at the center of it all, his fate hanging in the balance. And the narrative presented in court diverged significantly. In early 2017, a dramatic twist emerged. Jason Autry agreed to testify against Zach in exchange for leniency. This pivotal decision reshaped the case, bringing new insights and a glimmer of hope for justice in the tragic story of Holly Bobo. The prosecution began with a powerful opening statement, painting a vivid picture of the serene morning of April 13, 2011, that was shattered by Holly Bobo's abduction. They described the terror that gripped the small town of Darden, Tennessee, as Holly's family and friends searched desperately for her. The jury was captivated, their attention fixed on the prosecutor's every word. The tension in the courtroom was palpable as Jason Autry took the stand. His testimony was a gripping tale of betrayal and violence. Autry recounted how Zach Adams had called him for help, leading him to a remote location where he saw Holly's lifeless body. He described the chilling moment when Adams shot Holly, the sound of the gunshot echoing in the silent woods. The jury listened in stunned silence, the weight of Autry's words hanging heavy in the air.
I want you to start at the moment that you pulled into his driveway and tell the jury what happened.
I pulled into the driveway. I got out. The first thing I noticed was a burn barrel was burning. The second thing was Dylan was standing in the doorway with his shirt off. Shane was walking around saying, "Y'all need to hurry up and get the goddamn hell out of here." And holstered on his side was a firearm.
Can you repeat, please, your last statement?
Can you say it again, Post? She couldn't hear.
Yeah. When I pulled in, there was a large fire burning in a burn barrel. Dylan Adams was standing at the door of the trailer.
Just moving it so you can talk.
Dylan Adams was standing at the door of the trailer with his shirt off. Shane was walking around in the yard hollering, "Y'all need to hurry up and get the goddamn hell out of here," with a firearm holstered on the right side. Zach was standing at the door of a white 4x4 Nissan Frontier. I instantly got to Mr. Austin and bought a pill, bought a morphine, 100 milligrams, walked directly back to the PT Cruiser, broke it in half, cooked it down, and shot it. A few minutes later, I got out and walked back to the 4x4 Nissan where Zach was standing at the door, and he said, "I need you to help me bury this body." And I told him, I said, "God damn, I hate that y'all killed little JoJo." And he said, "Jason," he said Train. He didn't say Jason, my nickname was Train. He said, "Train, that's Holly Bobo."
Casting doubt, the defense team launched a fierce counterattack, challenging the credibility of the witnesses and highlighting the lack of direct DNA evidence. They portrayed Autry as a man desperate to save himself, willing to spin any tale to avoid a life sentence. The courtroom buzzed with speculation and doubt, each side presenting their version of the truth. Jason Autry, a key witness, testified that he saw Zach Adams shoot Holly Bobo under a bridge. Adams made several incriminating statements to friends and fellow inmates. For instance, he told his ex-girlfriend, Rebecca Earp, that law enforcement would never be able to find her and threatened to tie her up just like he did to Holly. He made threats to his brother Dylan, warning him to keep quiet or face a similar fate. Dylan Adams, Zach's brother, initially confessed to seeing Holly at Zach's home after her abduction. Holly Bobo's family members took the stand, their voices trembling with emotion as they recounted the day she disappeared and the devastating impact it had on their lives. Their heartfelt testimonies added a deeply personal dimension to the trial, reminding everyone of the human cost of the crime. The jury was visibly moved, some wiping away tears as they listened. Both sides delivered powerful closing arguments. The prosecution reiterated the circumstantial evidence in Autry's testimony, urging the jury to find Adams guilty. The defense focused on the lack of physical evidence and the credibility of the witnesses, pleading for reasonable doubt. The courtroom was tense, the air thick with anticipation as the jury retired to deliberate. Justice served. After 11 days of intense testimony and emotional turmoil, the jury returned with their verdict. Zach Adams was found guilty of the kidnapping, rape, and murder of Holly Bobo. The courtroom erupted in a mix of relief and sorrow, the Bobo family clutching each other in a bittersweet embrace. Adams was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, plus 50 years, a sentence that echoed the gravity of his crimes. The trial of Zach Adams was more than a legal proceeding. It was a saga of justice, betrayal, and the relentless pursuit of truth. It left an indelible mark on all who followed it, a reminder of the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface of a seemingly peaceful community. Although Dillon later recanted, his confession provided critical leads for investigators. Jason Autry later recanting his testimony also. The story of Zach Adams's fight for a retrial is a gripping tale of justice, deception, and the relentless pursuit of truth. It underscores the complexities of the legal system and the enduring hope for redemption, even in the darkest of circumstances. The hearing was set for June 14, 2024. The courtroom was packed, the atmosphere electric with anticipation. The defense presented their case with fervor, highlighting the inconsistencies in Autry's original testimony and the implications of his recantation. The prosecution, on the other hand, fought to maintain the integrity of the original verdict, arguing that the recantation was merely a ploy. Adams' legal team sprang into action, filing petitions for post-conviction relief. They argued that Autry's recantation was not just a twist in the tale, but a pivotal piece of new evidence that could overturn Adams' conviction. The defense painted a picture of a man wronged by the system, a victim of lies and deceit. The stakes were higher than ever. The air was thick with anticipation as Jason Autry, the man whose testimony had sealed Adams' fate, took the stand once more. But this time, his words carried a different weight.
The real reason that we were there was to show Clint how to manufacture meth. He said we got there early. She come outside screaming and raising hell.
Autry confessed that his previous testimony was a fabrication, a desperate attempt to avoid a life sentence. The courtroom buzzed with shock and disbelief. Could this be the key to Adams' redemption?
My name is Jason Autry. That's the worst that I've ever felt in my life coming back. Knowing that you just lied, but innocent man in prison.
Jason Autry, in September of 2017, lied. And let's suppose it was the most important part of the testimony, and that the judge found it some of the most persuasive, and the judge was totally defrauded. The state is now asking you to apply the 1-year statute of limitations and just say, that's how it rolls, justice is justice.
You have hearsay statements, and that's it. It doesn't satisfy the requirements. And what you have with the ones that we do have affidavits is you have information, some of which is not relevant to what we're deciding, some of which is not material or germane, and a lot of which is not based on their own personal knowledge.
Jason Autry, who gained his freedom by delivering crucial testimony, now finds himself back behind bars. On June 25, 2024, Autry was sentenced to 19 years in federal prison on unrelated weapons charges. His journey from key witness to convict adds another twist to this already complex and tragic story. John Dylan Adams, a key figure in the tragic case of Holly Bobo, has reached a pivotal moment in his legal journey. On January 22, 2018, a judge accepted a plea deal that imposes a 35-year sentence on Adams. By entering an offered plea, Adams maintains his innocence while conceding that prosecutors possess sufficient evidence to convict him of facilitating first-degree murder and especially aggravated kidnapping. This complex plea underscores the gravity of the charges and the intricate legal maneuvers involved in this high-profile case. As of today, August 8, 2024, the judge has yet to decide if Zach Adams will get a new trial. The courtroom is a cauldron of suspense, with every participant, from the defense team to the prosecution, from the journalists to the public, holding their breath. Will the judge grant Adams a new trial, opening the door to a potential reversal of his conviction? Or will the original verdict stand, despite the seismic shift in testimony? The stakes couldn't be higher, and the drama couldn't be more intense. Holly's family faces the prospect of a retrial with a mix of resilience and heartache. Each court date reopens old wounds, yet they remain steadfast in their pursuit of justice for Holly. Their strength is a testament to their love and determination, even as they navigate the emotional roller coaster of the legal process. Holly's ghost danced by the creek, her pink ribbon fluttering in the breeze. When the wind rustled the leaves, it carried her laughter, a fragile echo, a plea for justice. Her family, standing strong, felt her presence in every whisper of the wind, every rustle of the trees. They knew that as long as her spirit lingered, their quest for justice would never truly end. Holly's light continues to shine through your unwavering love and determination. May you find peace and comfort in the memories you cherish. What do you think? How do you feel about the potential retrial and its impact on Holly's family? Do you believe Jason Autry's testimony in the first trial was fabricated? Could it be that Zach Adams is innocent of Holly Bobo's murder? And do you think Zach will be granted a new trial? Or is it just a distant hope? Share your thoughts in the comments and let's discuss. If you enjoyed this video, consider hitting that subscribe button. It's like leaving a breadcrumb trail for more eerie tales. And don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Thank you, viewers and subscribers. For those who wish to go above and beyond, consider becoming a member of our community. Your support fuels our quest for truth and storytelling. Let's continue this journey together. Have a good day or a good night wherever you are in the world, and stay vigilant.